and welcome to another edition. And Budge, Postnet last one standing. We got rolling, we got the week started. It looked very, very interesting. We'll probably discuss the games with Steve later, but they were just looking at the list. Arsenal, they come into the cosh late. Man United were outplayed. Brighton were comfortable. Newcastle comfortable in the end. Crystal Palace and Fulham, who weren't comfortable. They've all gone through, Budge. So, Budge, this is one of the better first
It's the most we've ever had as far as the applicants go. 798 it was, and 717 went through.
717, so like 10% by the bar. And it starts this week on Friday. I just want to talk about some people, the pick of the rounds. I enjoy it when you look at those, Budge. Pick of the round, Mark Tuttle, Grant Knowles put 2 on Fulham. This is the guys who picked Fulham going all the way up to Everton. Conrad Ruiz, Alistair Cohen, the commentator, and Janice Lafferty. They decided...
She could go further than you.
I very much doubt it.
You never know.
Special mention for reaching round 2, because these don't normally do.
Oh, Paul, they've had a rough ride in recent times.
Carla and
Beto
Quintas, Roger Laveau, Rob O'Connor, Jay Naidu, Steve Griffiths, Tyron Coote, Robbie Dalton, and Colours, Garth Whitehead.
Can you believe it, Paul? This is our 20th competition. He's got to round 2 how many times, including this one?
It's 15.
4. So he's a staunch man. He was a founder member, Paul. First guy that ever gave me his money.
And then this week it starts, just letting everyone know for the Postnet last one standing. Closing time on Friday is 8
South African time, Paul, because you've got a lot of internationals and guys.
People come from all over the world. South African time, not for us to play in Sheffield Wednesday. It is included, and that game, South African time, 8 which is now before kickoff, roughly in our country. And then if you don't want to get involved with that game, you've got Saturday, and that is 12:30 South African time for the other fixtures.
Correct, Joe.
All the best. A lot of luck. Garth Whitehead is still in. Amazing. Stevie Braham is still in. I can't believe it. But anyway, our Stevie's in London.
Morning, Steve.
Morning, guys. Yeah, I'm still standing. Don't say that very often, do I? But,
Steve, one question for you. Is it coming home?
I think it could be. It could well be. You know, we've waited since '66. Maybe not quite the same, but you know, it'll be good. It'll be nice. Brings the feel-good factor back. You know, winning a football tournament.
No, they must say they've done well, Steve. They have caught the easy side of the draw, which England sides in recent competitions have.
Even in rugby.
Yeah, even in rugby. As I say, I fancied Spain all along until I saw them get destroyed 4-0 by Japan, so I never had a cent on them, but I think England are underdogs, Steve. I don't know what the betting is. I haven't seen this morning. I think they are. They should be, in my opinion.
England have beaten Spain before.
But
Spain they must be a good team.
Paul, last year in the Euros in England got every bit of luck. When they played the Germans in the final, their main striker got injured in the warm-up. There was trouble in the camp with the Spanish. 15 of them wanted the manager out. The Spanish Federation. So this is a tough game.
This is a more settled. So
it's a 50-50.
And it's playing Saturday morning?
Playing Sydney. It's 12 o'clock, I think, our time on Sunday, 11 o'clock in the UK,
Okay, so I think it's coming home. And just to quickly touch on Man City, and who did they play? Sevilla?
Sevilla last night. I'm disappointed in City, but, you know, there was no real nastiness. To Sevilla was a cup final. To Man City, it looked like just another game. I know they celebrated like they'd won, which they had another trophy, but storm brewing there, Paul. They better hold on to Bernardo Silva.
I'm with you.
There's trouble coming in that camp.
Losing that player. Steve, do you agree? Losing De Bruyne, any man in the Premier League will tell you it's tragic.
I mean, that's key. I mean, Pep and his team were put under, you know, asked a lot of questions about whether they rushed him back too soon. And he was very defensive about it, but there's no question he was rushed back too soon. And now they're saying it's at least 4 months out. So, you know, a big loss because, you know, the early part of last season, I mean, the amount of goals that Haaland scored from those amazing crosses from whipped in by De Bruyne. But look, they deserved to win last night, City. I mean, the second half, they absolutely battered Sevilla, and I guess they were excited. They were happy to win because they lost obviously on penalties at the weekend before to Arsenal. I guess if they'd lost on penalties again, you know, then they would have been questioned. But it's very interesting. Young Cole Palmer scored the two goals for them in the Community Shield and last night, and they're still talking about whether he'll be sent out on loan. And I'm thinking, why? I mean, he looks like the sort of player that you bring off the bench rather than necessarily start if Holland was injured. So, and Bernardo Silva, I understand, has signed a new contract, an extension to his existing contract for another year. And he's fairly key to them as well.
The other interesting stat is that obviously with Morris going, it makes it a bit easier for Cole Palmer. But 5 finals now, and Holland hasn't scored in 1. Do you know this, Steve?
Well, that often happens, isn't it? It's
I can't say it happens at Spurs. We haven't been to 5 finals.
Accused. Look, I know that last year people were saying, he's a bit of a flat track bully, scores against the lesser teams, but he did score. He did score a lot of goals. Look, the goals will come for him. I think people are maybe, because he got his 50-odd goals, people are expecting too much from him. But if defenders are marking him, and they're leaving someone like Cole Palmer unmarked, then, and the others, and, I guess as far as Pep's concerned, whoever scores the goals and they win, that's what counts.
Yeah. Without De Bruyne, they're going to struggle chance-wise. He won't get as many chances. And, think about it. I watched them in one of the games. He missed 4 sitters. 2 of them were headers from 2 yards out. But he does score goals.
But it's going to be a much tougher year.
Tougher year, and we're going to see if it's going to have to be up to Grealish, in my opinion, to create a lot of the chances for him. But if you show him on the line, his left foot's weak. He comes in off his right foot. He's dangerous, but teams can't work that out. But they'll still be there, City. Defensively, they sound. But they're not going to be as invincible as everyone makes out.
How about the Premiership?
Anyway, on to the Premiership for the weekend, Steve, and it kicks off on Friday night. I fancy Nottingham Forest to beat Sheffield United. I didn't watch much of the Sheffield United Palace game, but I was impressed with Forest. I know they got totally outplayed in the first half, but for me, I think 9 to 10's a bet. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, I think it depends what Forest team turns up, because the Forest team in the last 20 minutes or so had Arsenal really worried. Sheffield United struggled for a lot of the game against Palace. From what I saw, they need to bring players in. They're trying desperately. At the moment, I think their squad is one of the weakest. If maybe the second weakest to Luton in the division. So this is an interesting test, because obviously they were both in the Championship sort of the previous year, and it was Forest that edged them in the
penalty shootout
playoffs. But I think Forest have stepped up quite a bit since then, and I think you're right. I think Forest should be nailed on favourites for that.
Yeah, I think so. And we took even money Forest to score over 2.5 goals, and 16 to 10 Forest to win and over 1.5 goals. I just think Forest, I like what I saw last week, because in Arsenal at the Emirates, hard to beat them there. They come out on fire. So I fancy 9 to 10 Forest. Steve, great result for you last week. Only saw the highlights. Apparently you were hanging on, and my Evertonian mate said they didn't play too bad. I thought you were very fortunate with that goal disallowed, but that's not your fault. But local derby with Brentford, I know you got no kind words to say about them, but what do you think?
No, look, it's going to. Well, look, it looks like Mitrovic will be out. He was injured, and there's still talk about him going to Saudi, but I don't think he'll necessarily play there without Tony. I think there will be goals. Yeah. We played them pre-season, and it was 3-2 to us. I think there's no question Brentford will score against us, and the key is whether we can match that or score more. A win would be wonderful. A draw's not the worst result. It would just be nice not to lose to them. So I fancy a draw there.
Steve, is this your biggest derby? I know you're in Fulham and so on, but would you say...
Technically it's Chelsea.
Yeah.
But I think because we haven't really... Chelsea don't look upon us as their rivals.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of Fulham fans, in a way, sort of look at Brentford. For Brentford, this is a big. It seems to always be a bigger game for Brentford. They really dislike us. I think over the years we've started to dislike them maybe equally as much. But there's a lot of London derbies. But I say Brentford is probably one of the main ones that we don't like to lose to.
Okay. So if I looked at the bookings market in this game, would definitely be worth considering.
I think there will be some, definitely.
Okay.
So,
on to the popular choice for this weekend, Liverpool to beat Bournemouth. Good thing, Steve?
Well, look, last season it was was the the game that saw the end of Scott Parker. It was I can't see there'll be a massacre like that. I think Liverpool should be too strong. I thought they played very well in the first half at Chelsea. I think Chelsea was sort of trying to get to grips with playing together, some of their players, but the front three at Liverpool should be too strong for Bournemouth. I think they'll make themselves hard to beat, but I think Liverpool will edge that.
Good thing. Liverpool, good things, but 2 or 3. The team that impressed everybody that had no luck and they should have won Monday night was Wolves. Brighton, I was impressed with Brighton, even though they did beat newly promoted Luton on Saturday. I think this is going to be a good game, Steve.
Very good game.
I don't think I got Brighton on what we've seen. I like Brighton. I like the manager. This is going to be a tough game for them.
Steve, if I can come in, Steve.
I think Wolves surprised everybody by the way they played on Monday night. I think with all the problems they've had internally and with recruitment, I think people thought it was, United nailed on to win very comfortably. But the stat was they had 23 shots, Wolves, which is more than any other Premier League team in years at Old Trafford. So, I think, look, Brighton are strong. They're favourites to win. But I think if Wolves play like they did, I think that they make themselves very hard to beat. I wouldn't be at all surprised if they hold Brighton.
Steve, I just want to come in here. I watched, obviously, like we all did, Wolves go and visit Man United. And they were the better side. Everyone on the planet will tell you that. But there's a player in there called Kuna. Matthias Kuna, I think he is. He's the best player going past players I've seen since Gascoigne.
Gliding past.
He reminded me of Lawrence Chillen. He went gliding past people. He got the little short centre-back, was it Martinez? He got him red carded. He created chance after chance to them. That is, where did this guy come from? He's brilliant.
Well, he was there. He was injured. He was out injured for a while.
Yeah.
But and they had an option. They had to buy him. But actually, he looked the best player on the pitch for me. And I think it took, tactically, they just stormed through. United's midfield were non-existent the whole time.
That's right.
And it was, for them, it worked really well because it put real pressure on the United to the back 3 or 4, by sort of cutting through so quickly. Yeah. Their problem was they didn't have anybody that looked like they could finish clinically. Otherwise, they could have won. They could at least have got a point there.
Yeah.
Get on Wolves. 2-1.
The only thing is, Steve, is that Brighton don't give the ball away as poorly as Man United did on Monday night. So it'll be a different game. But I'm looking forward to that game. The big game, well, for Paul and I, Tottenham, Man United. Steve, before we have our comments, we'll let you make the decision. What do you think?
Well, I thought Tottenham played very well at Brentford. They gave up a couple of goals, but I think the worry. Tottenham scored 2 goals, but they were scored by defenders. I guess the worry is without Kane is who's going to score all those goals up front. Richarlison didn't look like he was going to score. Son needs to, he's obviously got the pressure of the captaincy, but I thought Tottenham played very well, and for me, I thought they deserved to win. I was disappointed with United, very disappointed. So this is the sort of game they'll cancel each other out, but I wouldn't be surprised if Tottenham might edge it.
Paul?
Yeah, I agree with Steve. I think Tottenham could, but it depends what Man United team turns up. The team that turned up against Wolves was patently not good enough. With Spurs conceded a penalty and an own goal, so they were a little bit stiff, Basuma stood out. He was very good. Maddison was good. If Bentancur joins them, it'll be a strong midfield, and that's where I thought United lacked it. They're going to obviously jack up their midfield but it'll be a very tight game. We're at home. I think we might just edge it, but it wouldn't surprise me either way.
Yeah, 2 disappointing teams. I backed Tottenham on the weekend. And disappointed me, Paul? The Ginger Ninja, your man. There's nothing with. I watched Richarlison. I was watching at the Georgian Dragon in Mshlanga. The Chiefs game was on, and Richarlison made 3 runs. And he dummied in every time. And I can see Richarlison looking and saying, what are you doing? Just put the ball in behind them because they were square.
Richarlison is a good international striker. I agree with you. Kulusevski, maybe people are working him out.
Yeah.
He has ability to go past players both ways.
But he doesn't play forward. He's playing sideways like Mata was doing.
Songs do no better.
Yeah.
Songs do no better.
The only guy that is going to be a danger to United is Maddison. He threads those passes. And him and Richarlison. Basuma stood out. He was excellent on the ball.
Yeah.
But for me,
interesting game.
It's an interesting game. 2 teams that will both improve.
They'll probably. I'm hoping they shade it, but they'll probably.
The draw more than likely 1-1 and 2-2, something like that.
Great game. I'd love to be at it.
Yep. Anyway, on to the second page. We've got
another great game.
Man City, Newcastle. Steve, I think this is upset material. What do you think?
Well, I mean, obviously City played last night. Newcastle have had a bit of a rest. I know in the early part of the season, games are good for sort of match fitness, but Newcastle looked very clinical and looked really strong against Villa. That was a bit of a surprising result to win as comfortably as that. I think this will be a tough game for City. I think Newcastle will fancy that they can get something there, and I wouldn't be at all surprised. I'm not sure they'd win, but I think they could run City very close.
Yeah, I think so too. 13-10, win and draw Newcastle. I think City are going to take a little bit of time. That De Bruyne injury is a massive blow, and Foden's going to come in and play that role.
It's sorry to interrupt you, but it might show where Newcastle are at.
Yes, definitely.
Because it's never easy going to Man City. A Man City B team will give you a run around. So this will show us where Newcastle are at.
They've got good midfield players, Newcastle. The new guy Tonali's a good player.
Very good player. Reminds me of Lampard.
Yeah.
Gets in the box full speed.
I think this is a
good game.
Upset material for me. Steve, Aston Villa, woeful after the injury. Everton, according to my Evertonian mates, they weren't that disappointed in the performance. The result, obviously, they were. It's a tough game for them. Villa have won their last 7 at home. I've got a fancy Villa, 6-10. Villa. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think so. I think that Emery would be very disappointed with the way they, with the overall performance and the defending. Obviously, they lost Tyrone Mings, who's going to be out for best part of the season with an ACL. I think they'll bounce back though. I think that I think Everton fans need to be a little bit cautious, thinking, they'll go there and get a result just because they played well and Villa didn't. Because I think, as you say, at home Villa were very strong at the end of last season. So I fancy a Villa win. I think it'll be close.
Everton have just signed George Harrison's son.
Again, Everton's
he's not George Harrison's son.
Is putting the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah.
Harrison from Leeds.
Okay, Jack Harrison.
Harrison is signed for Everton. Done deal. He's playing.
Maybe I read that he was injured. He's out injured for a little while. They bought him, but he is still out injured.
Yeah,
okay, that's interesting because they had him there in training gear.
I don't think that he's not an out and out sort of goal scorer. He'll create,
left
but he's not going to score the goals.
He taps a few.
But I think Villa will at home. I think that Emery will demand a better performance. I think it will be close, but I think Villa should win.
7.5-10, Villa to score over 1.5 goals. A gift.
That's a gift.
Anyway, Steve, West Ham, Chelsea. Paul, I don't know if you heard Steve's comment before we went on air.
No.
How many players have left Chelsea this season?
So, including players who
they've been released, like the youngsters and so on.
They let go from like the under-21s. 33 players have been released so far by Chelsea.
Wow! And there might be,
but they've still got a large squad, and they're still bringing players in.
Yeah.
But
there's another one yesterday, and one overnight. I heard. They're still doing their old tricks.
They've always had,
and they'll probably send some of them out on loan.
Yeah.
Steve, they've always had a massive squad, not big squad, massive squad. Yeah. So it's 33, and they might lose that very good young back. What's Hall? Is that his name?
Lewis Hall. Only if they'll let him go on loan, they won't sell him.
They won't sell him.
He could be going out on loan as well.
He's very good, but But I also heard that there's a possibility they might rather let Cucurella out.
Yeah.
And keep Hall.
Yeah.
So
Atletico Madrid.
They're quite happy to spend 60 odd million on a player, and a year later let him go out.
Yeah.
So,
is the American still there?
Is it?
Yeah, of course.
Bowley, yeah, he's in the stand.
No, striker.
Pulisic, he's gone to Italy. AC Milan, I think.
Okay.
Anyway, back to the game, Steve. Yeah. I know for the West Ham fans, I've got in the train with a couple of them. Their biggest rival is Chelsea. I said, why is that? He said, well, ever since Fat Frank left us and went to Chelsea, we've despised them. So,
I think historically it's Millwall.
Yes.
Yes. Not because they play each other all the time. It's
history.
It's historical. It's history. It goes back many years.
Yeah.
But there's no love lost between Millwall and West Ham. But look, if Chelsea get it together, and obviously he's got players who are playing together for almost the first time, I think they'll be too strong for West Ham.
Yeah.
I agree.
They've done well against them in recent years, but I just think Pochettino is going to put together a strong team, and I think forget what happened last year. I think they're gonna finish much higher, and I think they'll be much harder to beat.
Yeah, if Chelsea get the act together defensively wise, I think they'll definite top six. I like what I see going forward. And that Enzo Fernandez, he's a some player, that guy. I know he's 105 million, so he should be. But I think he's better than Declan Rice and the other guy, Cachado, who's joining him. But just 9 to 10 away from home, a Chelsea team you can't really trust at the moment, Steve. But then again, West Ham as well. Wouldn't surprise me if it ends in a draw, but I think there'll be goals in that. And last but not least, Monday night, Arsenal. Every Arsenal fan thinks this is their year, Steve. Crystal Palace, Roy Hodgson, great result, winning away from home. Good home form at Selhurst Park. But can they cause Arsenal a problem?
Well, they can. I mean, at home, they are hard to beat. It's Arsenal. I think Arsenal were cock-a-hoop at half-time.
Yeah.
Very comfortably. But the way that Forest put them under pressure, I think that's a bit of a warning sign for them. So I think they need to be, I think it's a little bit too optimistic to think that they're going to sort of edge City out just based on sort of one or two performances at the beginning of the season. I think this will be a tough game. They went there and won last year, I believe, but I think they will be favourites. But I don't think they're going to steamroller to the teams away from home necessarily. So I think it'll be close, but I can see Arsenal winning by a goal.
Arsenal, your last one standing pick this week, Paul?
Me.
Are you going to put them in?
No.
No, okay.
I was going to ask Steve. Steve, are you there?
Yeah.
How many London teams in the Premier League?
Well, we've got Arsenal, Tottenham, Chelsea 3, West Ham 4, Fulham 5, Brentford 6. I mean, it's a crazy amount, isn't it, when you think? And Palace 7.
Yeah,
7. So almost, more than a third of the games are London derbies.
Much, yes. Can you believe it, eh? 7 teams in London. In London, eh?
Okay,
Yeah.
well, not
okay.
So you're all over Arsenal, Steve, eh? So can I put you down for your last one standing pick, Arsenal, or are you going to jump ship? No, okay.
No, don't rush it, Steve. Don't rush it. We don't need the rain.
Okay, on to the championship. Great game Friday night. There's some funny, a lot of the teams I fancy this weekend are all playing on Friday night. And Leeds, bit disappointing. I saw the highlights. They got beat last minute by Birmingham.
Yeah.
Dodgy penalty, but it was. Do you think they can beat West Brom? And I watched West Brom Blackburn. They didn't deserve to lose. I think this is a tight game.
Yeah, me too. Draw.
I think it's a tight game. I mean, there's a little bit of unrest at Leeds. You've got Lonto who wants to go. They won't let him. Sinistera wants to go. Harrison has gone. I think that I think they'll be very pleased with the window shut.
Yeah.
West Brom, and even last week, they raced to a 3-0 lead against Swansea, and they were hanging on a bit at the end. I think Leeds will be favourites, but it is a big game. It's a Premier League game only a couple of seasons ago. So I think Leeds will be favourites, but this is another test for them. They started off with only 1 point from the 2 games. If they don't win, I think the fans will start to get restless. So I fancy Leeds, but I could see West Brom getting a point there.
Yeah, no doubt. 8.5 to 10, both teams to score. That's a gift. Plymouth Argyle, great home record last season.
They can play.
Beat Huddersfield 3-1 at home. Good result against Watford. Didn't see them getting that result. Southampton, James Ward-Prowse, they cost us last week. We dived in early. I think it was even money over 2.5 goals. There's goals are plenty here, Steve, but can Plymouth cause another upset?
I think they can. I think those are very good. I think there's good value in the odds for Plymouth with their home record against a Southampton team that have just lost. They were expecting them to go, but it's still nonetheless disappointing, I'm sure, for them to lose their playmaker, James Ward-Prowse, and obviously with Lavia going as well or about to go. I think that I fancy Plymouth could cause an upset.
Yeah, I went for the goals. I just think Southampton do score 4-4 last week. Plymouth, a lot of goals at home, so goals away. It wouldn't surprise me if there is an upset, but I'd rather be on the safe side and go for goals. Blackburn Rovers, Ewood Park, there's always goals there, Steve. Hull City, good result last week, but I fancy Blackburn at 9 to 10. How do you see it?
I do, I fancy them, definitely. I think they'll be too strong. Definitely. I think they're going to be too strong, and that's one of, I'm looking at that as maybe a best bet for me.
Okay, agree with you there. Bristol City against Tom Brady's Birmingham City. Bristol City upset everybody last week, beating Millwall 1-0 away. Bristol City, 4 points from 2 games. He'll no doubt be there again. How do you see it going?
games, and with a newfound sort of, as I said, with new ownership and obviously the whole Tom Brady factor, I guess it's sort of got the club sort of G'd up. I think this is the sort of game last season or the season before, both teams are sort of always bottom half, but I think they're both going to have decent seasons. I think that Bristol City will start as favourites, but I think Birmingham definitely making themselves hard to beat.
Yeah, that Jukovic, he's always been a threat, that big boy up front, so got to be
good
careful
game.
of him. Should be a good game. It's not on because my boys are on. Anyway, Leicester City, well clear at the top of the betting board to come straight back up, Steve. You see them beating Cardiff?
I think they will. I mean, Cardiff acquitted themselves well in the first game. Disappointing last week to lose at home to QPR. Leicester, for me, are still favourites to win the league, and I think that they'll win and have sort of 3 wins from 3.
Yeah, and they sort of win comfortably. I think Cardiff will score. Aaron Ramsey and go. They hit the bar a couple of times against QPR, Steve. I saw the highlights. They didn't deserve to lose, but you don't win at home, you're in trouble. But Leicester City, as long as they can hang on to all their main players, I think they'll be too good. Middlesbrough, Michael Carrick.
Bottom of the log.
Bottom of the log, Steve. I told you last week,
points.
Coventry destroyed them.
Very disappointing.
Yeah.
Very disappointing. And they just lost Chopper Akpom, signed for Ajax.
Oh.
So, I thought they were going to have a really storming season at the moment. They've got to find someone to replace Akpom, which they're obviously desperately going to try and do before the end of the window. Look, I thought Middlesbrough could win this, but I just don't know now. I think that they're a little bit shaky, and I think if they did win, it would be good, but otherwise I could see them being held.
Yeah, Huddersfield, they're a little bit unlucky in the highlights that I saw against Leicester, but this is, it's Middlesbrough or a draw. 29-10, the draw looks the right way, but Middlesbrough at home, you'd expect Carrick to get them fired up. QPR, Ipswich Town. I listened to...
Shock result. But Ipswich are doing really well, and
top of the
I
log.
wouldn't be at all surprised. QPR lost again last night in the
99th minute.
Carabao. I wouldn't be at all surprised if Ipswich go there and get a result and keep their upbeat run going.
Yeah, the only thing is QPR's last night, because they had a bet on both teams to score. Both teams made about 9 changes. So I wouldn't worry about that, but I agree. Ipswich started off well.
Be a good game.
11-10. Sheffield Wednesday, Preston. All right, Steve, give me confidence.
Give me hope, Joanna.
Why not? I mean, Sheffield Wednesday have conceded a lot of goals.
Yeah.
And I think that seems to be an issue for them at the moment. Lost both their games. Preston, really good result last week. I think, if they can blunt Sheffield Wednesday's attack, I think, if they're sort of a little bit ambitious, Preston don't go there thinking, we'll play for a draw or maybe try and sneak a win. I think if they go for it, I think your boys can get a result. Yeah,
we always concede though, so we're going to have to score 2. And that was a game a couple of seasons ago. 2 of our players got sent off for fighting. Unbelievable. Anyway, Stoke City versus Watford. Steve, I've hummed and hawed with this. I had to make a lurker as a bet. I like Stoke City of the 2 teams. I don't see them getting beat.
Watford have started well enough.
Watford cost us last week.
You're right. Well, look, Stoke had a huge home win first game of the season.
Yeah, Rotherham,
you say Watford have played 2 home games. They've not played away yet because of the rearranged game. I think Stoke would probably just start as favourites, but I think it'll be a close game.
Yeah, Sunderland, poor start to the season. I listened to the manager talk after Preston. They got beat. A little bit unlucky when I saw the goals. But they haven't got a striker. Well, they're not scoring goals.
He's on strike.
Having lost Diallo, they've had a bad start, but they've got to beat Rotherham, surely. They're a poor away team.
Look, I would think so. I mean, Rotherham were winning last week at home. Obviously, Blackburn came back strong. I think that you're right. I think this is a game that Sunderland are going to target, because if they don't win this, then I think the fans will be getting very restless. So I fancy a home win, but very close. Yeah.
My value bit of the week, Coventry City, 21-10 at Swansea. Do you agree, Steve?
Yeah, I think that Swansea's still a hard team to beat. They gave a 3-goal lead to West Brom last week and then came back strong.
Yeah.
But Coventry were very good against Middlesbrough. I watched that; very good performance. So I think if there was to be a winner, I think you're right. It would be Coventry.
And remember, they also got beat late against Leicester. They played well against Leicester too. So a good start. Mark Robbins, I like him. But Swansea, I just can't catch. Last but not least, Steve, one thing is certain when you watch Norwich City, there's going to be goals. And there'll be goals here. 11-10 a fair price for a Sunday lunchtime kickoff?
Yeah, I think Norwich should be too strong. I mean, they were a little bit unlucky not to win at Southampton, conceding in the 98th minute, but I think they'll be too strong. So, yeah, Norwich for me.
Yeah, dodgy penalty too. Anyway, Steve, pressure time as always. We've had a couple of weeks now there. Home our fancies and tips. I think I know who you're going for, but please confirm it.
So my best bet, I'm actually going to go for Blackburn. Yeah. I think they'll be strong at home, and I think they've started well. And my value bet, I'm going to go for Plymouth. I think there's a lot of value in those odds, even though it is against a team that went down. But I think this is could be a big scalp for them.
Yeah, I totally agree. I went to Spain for my best, but I went for Valencia. I watched them last Friday. Totally outplay Sevilla away from home. I think 8 to 10 is a gift, and I'm going to go for Coventry. I've been impressed with what I've seen. Yeah. 21 to 10, I think it's a decent price. I think it was like 9 to 10 win and draw. So those are my two plays for the weekend.
Lovely.
Steve, thanks as always. Last one standing. I think you're going to be on Liverpool to stay in, but if you do want Notts Forest, 8 o'clock South African time, please.
You can have Fulham.
No, you'll say Fulham for later on.
All right, Steve, all the best.
Okay.
Play well.
Cheers. Bye-bye. MTN, quarterfinals, but let's talk about South African football here. The results, let's go run through them with you. Sundowns, they always win. They beat Swallows 1-0.
Good game. Yeah, scored early and never in doubt. They can play, Paul.
Cape Town City lost at home.
That was an upset, I didn't see that coming. Sorry, I watched the game.
Yeah.
It was a good game. Chiefs played well, Paul.
Yeah. And then Supersport got beaten by Stellenbosch.
That was the upset of the hour. I didn't see that coming. I'd seen Stellenbosch in midweek. They got beat at Polokwane. Gavin will be throwing his toys out the cot. Well, he always does when they got beat. But
the key now is they go to semi-final.
2 legs, Paul.
2 legs. And the Stellenbosch Pirates, Kaizer Chiefs, Sundowns.
Yeah, I think. So
Sundowns Pirates look like
that's what it looks like, Paul. Hopefully it's not. I'd love Chiefs to stick Sundowns out, but hard to see, especially over 2 games.
Quickly run through the midweek results for me, Budge. Sundowns
4-0. I watched quite a bit of it. Oh, look, it was over early, Paul.
Chipper Hill Pirates.
Yeah, Paul, Pirates 1-0 up. It was a good game.
Good game. And then Sekhukhune got beat at home.
Swallows. Paul. Swallows gave Sundowns a tough game in the MTN 8.
Okay.
So they scored late, Paul. Watched a bit of it this morning.
All right, let's look at the PSL fixtures now, Budge.
2
Royal
games
AM,
on Friday.
Beg your pardon?
There's 2 games. We get
There's quite a bit of football on Friday, eh?
Yeah.
How about Royal AM Stellenbosch?
Paul, Royal AM, they play out of Harry Gwala now. Stellenbosch, be a tight game, Paul. I want to see what the odds are on a 0-0 draw. So we get the odds,
21 to 10, okay.
They say the odds are 21 to 10. That looks the right bet.
Any score draw. Yeah. Okay, and then Super Sport.
Paul, both teams got knocked out the MTN 8. Disappointing for them both. I like Super Sport at home, Paul.
Yeah.
But Eric Tinkler, they work together, him and Gavin. But draw a tight game.
They'll be great, mates.
Yeah, Super Sport for me.
Polokwane, Cape Town.
I like Polokwane 12 to 10. Cape Town Spurs haven't scored.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Bartlett's team. But they've just come. They both got promoted last year.
Polokwane as well.
Yeah, they won the league. So 12 to 10 of the 2 teams, I'd side that way. But another tight game. The draw looks a player.
KZN teams, Amazulu, Richards Bay.
Paul, I fancy Amazulu, but at home, you just never know. Richards Bay had a poor start. Amazulu, even money, Paul. It's short for a PSL team, but of the 2, definitely fancy them.
Chipper at home.
Paul, they did play well against Pirates, but Sundowns.
They couldn't even burglar draw. This Sundowns team.
Well, they like Man City in England. They score goals for fun and they enjoy playing with each other.
Why are they so good? They bought the best players?
They bought the best players. They've got 2 teams.
Yeah.
But their creativity, Paul, and that Peter Sheloleli up front is a good striker.
Yeah.
So they'll win.
Galaxy Chiefs, interesting
game. Well, this
game.
will be a good game. Yeah. I was impressed with Chiefs last week, Paul. It was like the old Chiefs that we played. Yeah. They had a full go. At the back, they were dodgy. TS Galaxy, I don't know, I just can't catch them. But another game. Of the 2, I like Chiefs, Paul. But 19 to 10, the draw as usual.
Right, give me your scores
today.
Paul, who have you picked?
Gold Circle, score 6 for the weekend. I've gone the field in the Fulham versus Brentford game. I've banked Liverpool to beat Bournemouth. I've thrown the draw in with Brighton at Wolves. A tough game. It is a 1-2-3, but we didn't have the money for that. I've banked Leicester to beat Cardiff. I've gone the field in the Tottenham Man United game, and I've thrown the draw in. Man City at home, win and draw against Newcastle United 2-1-6.
Okie dokie.
On to other soccer 6, I'm going Polokwane City, win and draw against Cape Town Spurs. Banking Liverpool to beat Bournemouth. The field in the Wolves Brighton fixture. Fulham and Brentford. London Derby, the field there. I've got Amazulu win and draw at home against Richards Bay, and I can't see Mamelodi Sundowns losing against anyone at the moment, let alone Chippa United. 2-1-6.
Okay.
On to our score 10. I'm going the field in the Fulham versus Brentford game. Banking Liverpool to beat Bournemouth. Brighton Hove Albion win and draw at Wolves. Blackburn Rovers win and draw at home against Hull City, as well as Bristol City win and draw at home against Birmingham City. Onto the second page, I'm banking Leicester to beat Cardiff. I'm chancing Coventry City to win at Swansea City. The field in the Tottenham Man United clash. I think Real Madrid will be too strong against Almeria. And Man City win and draw at home against Newcastle United, 288. Onto the soccer 13. I'm going Man City win and draw against Newcastle, as well as Tottenham win and draw at home against Man United. Liverpool should be too good at home against Bournemouth. Fulham win and draw at home against Brentford. Siding with Brighton to avoid defeat at Wolves. Going for Blackburn Rovers to be too good at home against Hull City. Bristol City win and draw at home against Tom Brady's Birmingham City. Onto the second page, I'm banking Middlesbrough to beat Huddersfield. Preston to avoid defeat at Sheffield Wednesday. Going Stoke City win and draw against Watford. Banking Sunderland to beat Rotherham. Coventry to beat Swansea City, and Ipswich Town to win at Queen's Park Rangers, 256.
Budgie's best bets.
Yeah, Paul, here we go. The Premiership treble, I'm going Notts Forest to beat Sheffield United and over 1.5 goals. And then I'm going over 2.5 goals and both teams to score yes in the Aston Villa Everton and West Ham Chelsea games, 2,700 to 200. Our team goals only, I'm going Notts Forest, Aston Villa and Chelsea all to score over 1.5 goals, and Liverpool to score over 2.5 goals.
That looks good.
2,400 to 200. Onto the Championship, I'm going Leicester City to beat Cardiff City and both teams to score yes. And then over 2.5 goals in the Plymouth Southampton and Norwich City Millwall games. 2,400 to 200.
One quick question. Leicester City to win and both teams to score. Is that in the Leicester game?
Yes, so they've, yeah. So it's got to be 2-1, 3-1, but both got to score over 2.5 goals and they'll win. Both teams to score. Leeds United West Brom, Blackburn Hull City, Sheffield Wednesday Preston and Norwich Millwall. 2,100 to 200.
Spanish omelette?
I've gone to the Spanish Abraza PSL. Paul, I've gone into Spain. I'm going Valencia to beat Las Palmas, Osasuna to beat Athletic Bilbao, and both teams to score on Monday night's games between Alaves and Sevilla and Granada Rayo Vallecano, 4,100 to 200. And our Collis King 6 or Nixa, I'm going Liverpool to beat Bournemouth, Aston Villa to beat Everton, Leicester to beat Cardiff, Stoke, I had to throw one at a price, Stoke to beat Watford, Napoli to beat Frosinone, and the league starts at Serie A, and Valencia to beat Las Palmas, 3,400 to 200.
Very good, Budge. Don't forget, second leg of the Postnet Last One Standing starts on Friday night. If you want to have a wager on either of those teams, otherwise it's all action South Africa on Sunday, South African time. Get your bets on. I hope that Stevie B's listening. I hope Colours are listening. Because
Colours can't believe it. Paul walked into Pirates, a standing ovation. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable Colours. Well done. He's got it right for once. And until next time, stay on side.